Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a hell of a show in store for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this topic here. As you guys know, things between Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan are not what they used to be during the Chicago Bulls run. Hell, it ain't what they used to be when Michael Jordan was a Wizard or at any other time around that time, because as you guys know, the Last Dance docuseries came out back in 2020 during COVID and all of that, the lockdowns, and it became the most successful sports documentary in the history of ESPN. Extremely successful. All of us were glued to our computers or televisions where you were watching it. I watched it through Netflix, and it was just it was just really a wonderful viewing experience if you're a basketball fan. And for people like me who didn't really witness that Chicago Bulls run, it really took us behind the curtains to just witness that story and, you know, the tribulations and the ups and downs that all of those players went through in their pursuit of winning 6 championships and becoming, you know, probably the most popular sports dynasty in the history of American sports. There's something else, right? Absolutely something else. And because of their success, their extreme success, I mean, to put it into context, at one point the Chicago Bulls went 8 years where they didn't lose more than 2 basketball games in a row. There was an 8-year period where the Bulls never lost more than 2 basketball games in a row. If that's not domination, I don't know what is, right? I really just don't know what is. So the Last Dance docuseries came out, and all of us thought it was good except one person. And that person was Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was really not happy with the Last Dance, and I remember the day he went on the Dan Patrick show, and he just set the entire NBA community ablaze, where he started going at Michael Jordan in ways that many of us never even believed Scottie Pippen could. He went at Jordan, he went at Phil Jackson, calling him a racist. And Scottie just went on this campaign against Jordan to the point where a lot of us were just like, what is going on here? And frankly, it left a lot of Chicago Bulls fans in total disarray and confusion. A lot of Chicago Bulls fans were not happy with what was taking place. And a lot of them sided with Jordan. They didn't appreciate the things that Scottie Pippen was saying. And it seems like their relationship from that point forward just totally staled. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. But Scottie always maintained that the Bulls won that championship. It wasn't a Michael Jordan production, and he didn't like the way that his teammates were depicted, and it was just pretty much all about Jordan. I felt totally differently. I felt like the docuseries covered the most important people during that Chicago Bulls run. It showed their high points and their low points, and I think it did a very good job. But obviously, I'm not Scottie Pippen. I didn't play with the Bulls, so I don't know. But nevertheless, the Last Dance was pretty successful. But recently, Scottie he went on a tour, I believe, in Australia. It was called the No Bull Tour with him, I think Horace Grant, and some other former Chicago Bulls, where they were going to be setting the record straight. And just when you thought that, okay, we're done with this, there's no more, there's nothing new going to happen here, Scottie Pippen came back and said, nah, I'm not done. We still gonna keep this thing going. So what happened? Just going through the internet, a video was recommended to me from TMZ Sports of Scottie Pippen, right? Of Scottie Pippen. So I click on the video to hear what he had to say, because I knew in some form, shape, or fashion they were going to be talking about the Bulls. And I click on it, and apparently Scottie Pippen has a new plan to not only release a new series, but also release a new with some crypto product or whatever it is. It is centered on an NBA Finals basketball that he retained that he believes could be worth upwards of $100 million. And his plan is to tell his own story about that Chicago Bulls dynasty. But before we even get into what Scottie had to tell TMZ, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. With only 4 months left until the end of the year, I look forward to creating special moments with family and friends by attending various theaters, shows, plays, and sporting events. And when it comes time for me to look for tickets, I absolutely love to use Game Time. Game Time is one of the most reliable marketplaces for last-minute tickets to the most popular events in sports, music, and theater in more than 60 cities across the United States and Canada. Game Time saves me money, time, and peace of mind, so I don't have to sort through thousands of tickets looking for the best prices or worry about whether or not if they're authentic or whether if I'm going to receive them on time. Game Time Picks, one of my favorite Game Time tools, analyzes thousands of tickets for all of your favorite events near your location and finds you the best possible deal so you don't have to. For example, I'm looking forward to this upcoming concert at Madison Square Garden of one of my favorite composers, Hans Zimmer. Here, I can select the all-in price to see the total ticket price up front, no hidden fees. And now I can sort through the best possible deals I can find. I can choose the cheapest deals, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. And if you're like me and always make plans at the last minute, you can grab tickets up to 90 minutes after the event has started. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we'd like to do now is like to play what Scottie said to TMZ Sports. I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Scottie Pippen here.
And now Scottie is doing something really awesome with that game ball. Scottie, thank you so much for being here. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, if you've got younger people out there, Scottie, or if people have sort of, as time has gone by, forgotten about this game a little bit, just talk about the significance of this basketball. Again, that was used by you guys during that win, Game 5 of the NBA Finals.
Yes, it was. And I think that ball really was the start of a dynasty, and almost, I want to say, the end of a great dynasty in the Los Angeles Lakers, who we've known for many years in the 80s as Showtime. And pretty much they kind of were the show in basketball. But I think the Game 5 ball that I have is very recognizable to some degree. And what we're trying to do is make it a real world asset, because I know a lot of people know about the history of the Bulls, what we were able to do in the 90s. And I think this ball really sort of describes and tells a story about the start of a great run in basketball as a whole, but more so for Chicago Bull fans and basketball fans around the world.
That's interesting, Scottie, because I hadn't even thought about it like that. It's not just the start of your dynasty, but I know a lot of people thought the Lakers were going to win that series, and right, it's sort of the end of the Showtime Lakers. Did you have the ball, Scottie? I mean, had you held on to it for all of these, 33-ish years or so, or is this something that you have recently gotten back?
Oh no, 33 years I've held on to this ball, and I've held it right with my championship rings. And also I have 6 replica championship trophies. So I keep it as close to my heart as I do those things, because I feel like that this ball was something very meaningful for me. Even at the moment when I grabbed it, I sort of knew that was going to be a start of something special. And lo and behold, it did. We were able to win 5 more titles after that.
Now, I know you've got a couple things going on in relation to the basketball. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Scottie, but you've linked up with Deion Taylor at Hidden Empire. Are you all making a documentary on this basketball?
Yeah, we're looking to do a documentary on this basketball, because we think that there's a lot of stories to be told. And I hear a lot of stories about kids that, tell me where they were in, Germany or France, and they're waking up at 3, 4 in the morning, just having the opportunity to see NBA basketball, but they had an opportunity to watch what I consider a dynasty. 10 years, I felt like that basketball really came into a whole different level, climate. It became more globalized. We became part of USA Basketball, and it just opened up the game for everybody. It became more of a worldly game instead of just an NBA game played here in America.
What is it going to focus, Scottie, on Is it your whole career? Is it the Chicago Bulls? Is it that final series? Is it game 5? What do you have in mind for the doc?
I think it's going to be more about the whole run of that season. I am working with a team, but my ideal is to see this ball really sort of tell a story of what it was like for basketball in the 90s and what it was like for our journey to get to that first championship.
That's so cool. Now, there's also some sort of crypto element to this, isn't there?
Yeah, well, what we've done with the ball is we've tokenized it, and we believe that this ball is real world asset. And so we want to make this ball as valuable as possible. So what we're doing, we're giving this ball back to the community and allowing them to see the value and also to build the value in this asset. So my team has really been behind it and putting together most of the work, but obviously I'm the one that grabbed the ball and I have the possession of it, but it's definitely something that we believe is going to be big.
Does that mean, Scottie, that fans can like buy a piece of the ball, or how does that work?
Yes, that's pretty much it. And they go to game5ball.com and you're able to look it up and figure out how you can get in, monetize a part of this legacy, a part of this dynasty that we've created.
How valuable do we think this ball is, Scottie? I mean, we've seen some sports and you know this as well as anybody. We've seen sports memorabilia go for crazy prices before, whether it's basketball, baseball, football. How valuable do you think this is in relation to some of the other really expensive and cool sports memorabilia we've seen?
Well, it's working its way up. I mean, what we want to make this ball $100 million ball. So if we can continue to value it and show the right value, especially in the cryptocurrency world, then we think we're on to something special, and it's definitely something new.
So you heard what Scottie had to say about that. What are my thoughts on this? First of all, Scottie seems to be very, very unhappy with the way he was portrayed in the Last Dance docuseries. And if I'm being honest with you, I think that a lot of it has to do with what Scottie feels and less than what people feel about it. I don't think people walked away from that series thinking any lesser of Scottie Pippen as a basketball player. I don't think we did. I think after watching it, a lot of us gained a lot of respect for him, especially in the 1998 NBA Finals, when the guy was playing with I think was a hyperextended back. He had some severe back injury in Game 6, and he still gutted it out and found a way to play, even though he was a decoy. He said it in the docuseries. But nevertheless, it took a lot of heart, because when you have a back injury, you have absolutely zero mobility. You can't do anything when your back is tightening up like that. But he still went out there and competed. So I was watching it and I was like, man, this is absolutely incredible what Scottie did. Now, for whatever reason, I think he took it, and maybe some other Chicago Bulls teammates, they had their issues with it, like Horace Grant about this thing with the food, don't serve him food on the plane. But I guess some of the Bulls took it as, the series was all about Jordan and his greatness, and less to do with the team. And I didn't get that sense. I did not get that sense. They focused on MJ. They focused on Dennis Rodman. They focused on Phil Jackson. They focused on the ownership and management of the Chicago Bulls. They focused on Michael Jordan. But I also think something else is important that we got to point out. Jordan is Jordan. Jordan is Jordan. The star is the star. So the star's always going to get the lion's share of the attention and the praise. He's the star. There's a reason that MJ is considered to be the greatest player of all time. So if people feel like the majority of the credit goes to him, that's what comes with being the number one guy. And had it been Scottie in Jordan's position, people would have been praising Scottie the same way. It just so happens to be that Jordan is the guy. Now, here's the irony in all of this. The irony in all of this is that this sentiment is one-sided. Because Jordan, at every turn over the last 25 years, has always said, I don't win those 6 championships without Scottie Pippen. He has always said that. Jordan always gave Scottie credit. Always. There was even a video of NBA 2K when they said Jordan do his pick his starting 5. I think he said it would be him. He would pick Scottie Pippen first. Then he would pick, I think, James Worthy. Then I think he mentioned Hakeem Olajuwon, and I forgot the other player. But he picked Scottie first as well. Is Scottie Pippen the best small forward ever? No, but he still picked him. Jordan was even there to help induct him into the Hall of Fame. Like, what are we talking about? So when Scottie came out and started saying Jordan was a terrible person, a lot of us were dumbfounded. Because if Jordan was such a terrible person, why did you have him induct you into the Hall of Fame? If he's this useless human being, and if you listen to the complaints from Scottie Pippen about Jordan, a lot of it had to do with when they were teammates. But we had seen years go by of these guys being friendly. So a lot of us were sitting here scratching our heads like, but what is going on here? Because a lot of these things you're saying about him has to do with when you guys were teammates, but we've seen you chum each other. And if you felt this way about him, why did you even bother participating in the Last Dance docuseries to begin with? If you felt this, if you viewed him, if you had such a low view of him, such a negative view of him. So to me, man, I'm still confused. I still don't know what's going on. And I think a lot of people probably feel the same. So the question to the audience is, number 1, what do you think about this new docuseries? Number 2, what do you think about what they're planning to do with this NBA Finals basketball? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.